McDonald's leaves Russia. Renault to sell Russian operations. Russia's nuclear missiles reaching Finland border?
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It's May 17th, Tuesday, and here are your top stories. After more than 3 decades in Russia, McDonald's announced on May 16th that it has put the Russia business up for sale as it works to leave the country completely. McDonald's plans to sell its business to a local buyer, which includes 850 restaurants, some run by franchisees. It will de-arch those restaurants, meaning they will no longer use the McDonald's name, logo, or branding. As a result of the move, McDonald's will record a write-off of $1.2 billion to $1.4 billion and recognize foreign currency translation losses.
McDonald's entree into Russia began at the 1976 Olympics in Montreal, when the chain allowed the Russian Olympic team to use its Big Mac bus. 14 years later, in January 1990, McDonald's opened in Moscow. With 62,000 employees in Russia, McDonald's said it is seeking to ensure the employees of McDonald's in Russia continue to be paid until the close of any transaction and that employees have future employment with any potential buyer.
Russian officials said May 16th, Russia will take control of French car manufacturer Renault's operations in the country and resurrect a Soviet-era auto brand, marking the first major nationalization of a foreign business since the war in Ukraine began. Renault said it would sell its majority stake in Avstovaz, a Russian car company best known for its Lada brand, to a state-run research institute known as NAMI. Renault said the deal included an option to buy back the Avstovaz stake within the next 6 years.
Renault's other Russian operations, primarily a factory in Moscow, will be sold to the Moscow city government. The mayor of the Russian capital, Sergei Sobyanin, said the city would bring back the Moscovich brand for cars made at the factory. Moscovich was a major auto brand in the Soviet Union but went into steep decline in the 1990s and vanished from the market in the early 2000s. Trade and Industry Minister Denis Manchunov indicated last month to Russian media that the Avstovaz deal could be conducted for a symbolic 1 ruble.
International Business Times reported on May 16th, Russia is moving its advanced nuclear-capable missiles closer to Finland after it continued its bid to join NATO. Moscow has also cut the electricity supply to Finland since May 13th. Footage that emerged on the internet shows that Iskander missiles, which are capable of carrying a number of nuclear warheads, were being transported to the Finland border. The weaponry was headed toward Vyborg, a Russian city close to the Finnish border.
Russia had threatened Finland to face devastating consequences after it bid to join NATO. The military alliance is conducting a drill simulating in response to Russia's attack. A narrator in the video said, as soon as the president of Finland said they were joining NATO, a whole division of Iskander's short-range ballistic missiles, 7 of them, is moving towards Vyborg. Vyborg is only 30 miles from Finland and 135 miles from the Finnish capital, Helsinki.
North Korean health authorities said on May 16th that 8 more people died and an additional 392,920 were newly found to have feverish symptoms. That begins the death toll to 50 and illnesses to more than 1.2 million. It's a sharp jump from 6 dead and 350,000 sick reported last Friday of May 13th, a day after North Korea said that it found an unspecified number of people in capital Pyongyang testing positive for the Omicron variant.
North Korea state media reported, as of May 15th, more than 564,860 people were in quarantine. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un criticized officials over slow medicine deliveries and mobilized the military to respond to a surge in suspected COVID-19 infections. KCNA reported, Kim strongly criticized the cabinet and public health sector for their irresponsible work attitude, organization, and execution abilities. In an emergency meeting, Kim said that they have not rolled up their sleeves and not properly recognized the present crisis.
Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed on May 16th that a Taiwanese American man was killed in a mass shooting at the California church on May 15th. The ministry said another 5 individuals injured in the incident were also Taiwanese Americans. Taiwan's representative office in Los Angeles was keeping close contact with the local Taiwanese community as well as the hospitals that were treating the wounded. Media reported the suspect in the shooting is an Asian American man in his 60s and is in custody.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office tweeted May 15th afternoon that they received a phone call of gunfire at the Geneva Presbyterian Church in Laguna Woods shortly before 1:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Police said it appeared to be a lunch banquet following the morning service with about 30 to 40 people in attendance. According to police, those wounded in the attack were 4 men aged 66, 75, 82, and 92, and 1 woman aged 86. The LA Times reported the man who was killed was a physician in his 50s.
Shockingly, weak data from China underline the deep damage lockdowns are doing to the world's second largest economy. China's April retail sales plunged 11.1% on the year, almost twice the fall forecast, while industrial output dropped 2.9% when analysts had looked for a slight increase. Industrial output around the Yangtze River Delta, which includes Shanghai, fell 14.1% in April, while China's northeast shrank 16.9%. Both regions saw a more than 30% dive in retail sales.
In step with the unexpected industrial output decline, China processed 11% less crude oil in April, with daily throughput the lowest since March 2020. In the same month, power generation fell 3.4%, the lowest since May 2020. Fixed asset investment, which Beijing is counting on to prop up the economy as exports lose momentum, rose 6.8% in the first 4 months, compared with an expected 7.0% rise. Property sales by value slumped 46.6% from a year earlier, the fastest pace since at least 2010, as COVID-19 lockdowns cool down demands.
Swiss Info reported on May 13th the government announced that from May 1st, Swiss companies can no longer export arms to countries that seriously violate human rights. However, the global rearmament effort in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine is grist to the mill for Swiss arms companies. Swiss factories in Altdorf and Zurich, which produce air defense systems, radar, and ammunition for the German automotive and arms manufacturer Rheinmetall, are under pressure to speed up production.
According to Rheinmetall Group spokesman Oliver Hofsmann, across the group, 87% of orders currently come from NATO countries, and the trend is upwards. Rheinmetall's share value has more than doubled since Putin attacked Ukraine. The German arms company anticipates a 15 to 20% increase in turnover. Other large companies active in the sector in Switzerland are also benefiting from the generalized drive to rearm. The Swedish company Saab in Thon, Cantonbern, has registered, like most of the defense industry, increased interest in its products.
Shanghai set out plans on May 16th, expecting life to return to normal from June 1st and the end of a COVID-19 lockdown that has lasted more than 6 weeks, which contributed to a sharp slowdown in China's economic activity. After declaring that 15 of its 16 districts had eliminated cases outside quarantine areas, Shanghai's Deputy Mayor Zhang Ming announced the decision at a daily online news conference. She says Shanghai's reopening would be carried out in stages.
First, movement curbs largely to remain in place until May 21st to prevent a rebound in infections. The city plans to gradually increase domestic flights and rail services. And from Monday, will begin reopening supermarkets, convenience stores, and pharmacies. Zhongming said from June 1st to mid and late June, as long as risks of a rebound in infections are controlled, Shanghai will fully implement epidemic prevention and control, normalize management, and fully restore production and life in the city.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. Let's make every day a fun day. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I will see you next time.